Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Business Podcast, your source for all things business. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, today I have Rhonda Sher on the line, and she is founder over at rhondasher.com and also founder of the Sher Method. Rhonda, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, Adam. I'm really happy to be here.
Oh, I'm excited to get into today's topic. So we're going to talk about the Sher Method and how businesses can use it to help grow their businesses using LinkedIn. But before we do that, let's go over what you're doing over at rhondasher.com. Tell us a little bit more about your business overall, please.
Well, basically, and you'll think this is kind of funny, Adam, but, especially now in the COVID-19 time, more and more people are using LinkedIn. They're using it to find new business. They're using it for credibility. And what I help people do is become the only logical choice. And what I lovingly like to say is I get them out of LinkedIn witness protection because most people just can't be found. So that's primarily what I do. Yeah. So you show up as the only logical choice for the product or service that you offer. And so I do a lot with helping people to, and I have a Done For You program, to overhaul their profiles so they're upgraded and optimized. What I like to say is a lot of people show up on LinkedIn like they're going to a black tie event, but they're wearing their running clothes. So I just dress them for the party. And then I show them how to use it so they can book 2 to 10 appointments a week with their ideal clients, prospects, and referral partners, and all of it being from a platform of service, not sales.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. And I think that's a great transition. So let's just jump into today's topic. So the Sher Method. Where do you want to begin with this one?
Well, let's just start with how people show up on LinkedIn. I call it the 3 Ps. So the first one is present. How are you showing up on LinkedIn? So when I look at your profile, Adam, you have an amazing headshot, perfect headshot. I look at your banner. You have an amazing banner. It's completely branded to who you are. So the first part, which is how do you present yourself, is does your LinkedIn profile tell people who you are, what you do, how they can reach you, the kind of services or products that you offer, the problem that you solve, what other people think of you. And basically, it's a vehicle. So when somebody has a question, you are the only logical choice, whether they found you through a search, they were referred to you, or however they got there, that LinkedIn profile presents you as the professional you are. So that's the first step. Make sense?
Completely. And where do you find that a lot of people go wrong on I want to stick on the profile a little longer. Where do you find that a lot of people go wrong on creating these profiles? Because I mean, I've seen it all on LinkedIn, but this is your profession. So what do you see? Like there's common themes that arise in. If you're listening to this right now, let me preface this. If you're listening to this right now, don't have your feelings get hurt right now. Take this as constructive criticism. If you get a little pain in your side, like, did she see my LinkedIn profile? No, we didn't, but you're guilty, and Rhonda's going to help you fix it. So what are some of those things people do wrong?
So the first thing is LinkedIn gives you a place to put a banner. And that's, if you haven't used it, it's just that plain blue background. But I see a lot of people that don't take advantage of that prime real estate. The second big mistake, and by the way, it's free to put a banner. It's actually free to put one up. The second mistake that I see, and this is probably one of the biggest ones, is your headline. And your headline is what goes underneath your name. What most people do is they let LinkedIn default to your job title. However, if you want to get found and out of witness protection on LinkedIn, you want to put underneath your name what it is that you do, the keywords. So if you think of LinkedIn like Google, and somebody's searching for a podcast host, for example, you're going to come up more likely than if you just had the name of your company. And the biggest other 2 things that I see are, number one, they don't understand privacy settings. And what I mean by that is LinkedIn will default to showing you other profiles. So just like we shop on Amazon, you go into Amazon, and by the time you're ready at the cart, Amazon's going to suggest 3 other things you might want to buy. Well, LinkedIn is going to suggest other profiles for you to go view. But if you've worked hard to optimize your profile, you don't want them leaving. So that's a setting that most people don't realize they should be changing. And then finally, when you get to the body of the profile, the About section, it should be written in first person, and your first 3 lines are the most important. That's where you tell people who you serve and what you do, because you get to those little words that say, see more, because you want people to click so they can read who you serve, what are the services you offer, what are the products, and most important, Adam, how do we reach you? I cannot tell you how many profiles I look at that don't have an email, a phone number, a website, a call to action, some way to get to know who you are. And then finally, it comes down to recommendations. And with recommendations, one of the things that's very cool is you can literally just click over to the person that gave you a recommendation. So you can go and look at them. And that's the third-party validation, so that it isn't just something that's put on a website that says, you know, that testimonial, and then it says Mary M. This actually allows you to go look at the person that wrote it. So those are the main things I think that I see, you know, in terms of the mistakes that people made. And it's not because they're wrong. It's just they don't know what they don't know.
No, absolutely. And the thing is that what I try to tell people is that think of your LinkedIn profile as it's probably, and depending on the size of your business and how much you spend on marketing, other things, it might be more important than your business website, because your LinkedIn profile might be getting more traffic than your business website. Again, depending on how much you spend on pay-per-click or other things. But if you're not doing, let's say you're not spending and you're not getting any traffic on your website, then your LinkedIn profile is more important than your website in terms of new people trying to figure out what you do, because it's very likely that if somebody Googles your name and your business, your LinkedIn profile is actually going to come up before your website. And that's because it's LinkedIn. I can't tell you the back end. I'm not an SEO person on all that stuff, but I can tell you that if you don't have any traffic going to your website, that it's a higher authority than your actual website. So to neglect that and put all your work on website it makes no sense.
You're absolutely right. In fact, 70% of the time that somebody Googles your name and you have a LinkedIn profile, it's going to show up first. So if you think about it that way, and Microsoft owns LinkedIn. They purchased LinkedIn for $26-point-something billion in 2015. So almost every contact management system now has a direct click over to your LinkedIn profile. So almost everybody is about one click away. How are you showing up?
And what I like to also say to people, and they don't, because they don't believe me, I'm a huge, and I wish I was a LinkedIn affiliate, but I don't think that's a thing. But so we don't get paid for this from LinkedIn. But just throwing this out there, if you're a business owner or entrepreneur out there and you're not on LinkedIn and you still think it's a game, I'll share my personal experience. I've been contacted cold off of LinkedIn, and I've been on a speaking tour as far away as China from somebody finding my profile and finding what I do on LinkedIn, and that was a nice little payday. So I'm just throwing this out there. I may be in media, but this stuff happens all the time. This is how people find out who they want to do business with. It's not like this needle in a haystack thing. Especially if you're out there prospecting and working towards connecting with people, and you're in any type of sales and or role that needs any type of network or business, which I would say all of them do. But let's just say that you think that you don't need it. You still need it, because you need people to be able to know who you are. And it's no longer acceptable not to have an updated profile that looks good. When I see somebody's profile, if they're not, especially if they're trying to sell me something, whether it's software or otherwise, something for my business, and I look at their profile and it doesn't look professional or it doesn't look right, I'm like, well, why would I want to do that if they don't have a good LinkedIn profile? I mean, I'm that biased because I've been doing this long enough. I'm not saying everybody needs to be that way, but that's just my personal feeling on it.
Well, you're saying everything that I say. It's absolutely true. You know, we don't get that second chance to make a first impression. So you might want to look at it and say, how am I showing up, right? And if your profile doesn't tell people what you want them to know, they're just going to go on to the next person. You're actually going to lose all of those leads and don't even know it.
Awesome. So Rhonda, that being said, I could talk to you about LinkedIn. As the audience could tell, I mean, we're passionate about LinkedIn. We could talk about this all day long, but we're about out of time on this one. That being said, if somebody wants to learn more about the Sher method and to learn more about your services and to get their LinkedIn profiles overhauled and looking right, I mean, what's the best way for them to reach out to you and your team?
Probably it's just by sending an email to unleashinglinkedin@gmail.com. So it's just unleashinglinkedin@gmail.com. Or they can go to my website, which is just my name, Rhonda, RHONDA, Sher.com, and get a copy of my free planner. Or most important, let's connect on LinkedIn. If you just put in my name, Rhonda L. Sher, you will find me. I have over 25,000 connections. So if I can introduce you to somebody, I can be a resource for you. Reach out and let's connect. Just put in the personal connection request that you heard me on your podcast, and I will be sure to accept your connection request, because anybody that hears you, Adam, is a new friend of mine.
Well, Rhonda, if you didn't say connect on LinkedIn, I was going to call it suspect. I was like, wait a minute, she better say connect on LinkedIn. If she doesn't say connect on LinkedIn, we're going to have to do another background check. We're not releasing it. So I'm glad you said connect on LinkedIn, and I find it's very easy to find. And I love that in your headline it says lead generation expert. I mean, you're letting people know immediately what you do. It says LinkedIn profile makeover. So I want people listening, go over, put Rhonda Sher in the search box, pull it up so that you can see that she's practicing what she preaches. Like, you look at her profile and you'll see, like, this isn't just talking about doing it. You have to do it. Look at her banner. Look at all these things. It just kind of proves and shows what she's doing and how she's helping people. So great stuff there. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. Leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store. And if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Business, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments in the video. Love to know what kind of projects and things that you're working on. And Rhonda, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks for having me.